So it is episode 11.
Lucky number. Well, I mean, it's not an unlucky number, but...
So if you hear mysterious purring, it is because we are recording at Kendall's, and she got a new kitten, and it's adorable.
Yeah, we ended up actually picking up this kitten. We thought it was a girl. When we came home and kind of discovered it didn't have those girl parts, that it had the boy parts, so yeah. So Peanut is now Peanuts. Because it's a boy.
Oh, but he's fixed, so.
Yeah, he's fixed, so it's fine.
So we're surrounded by cats currently, which is not unlike what it normally is at my house.
Yeah, but mine are just younger, so they're more...
Active.
Yeah, destructive, but yeah. Active is one way to put it.
So we didn't have an episode last week.
But we're back, and we're excited for more content.
Yeah, oh, and in case this is your first time listening, I'm Kelly.
And I'm Kendall.
This is Twin Theories, our podcast where we talk about conspiracy theories, unknown facts, and we normally drink wine.
Paranormal things.
And paranormal things. We dive a lot into the paranormal with ghosts, and we actually do listener stories at the end / beginning of every month. So the first of the month, we will do listener stories. So if you are interested in sending us stories, that would be awesome. We're at twintheoriespod@gmail.com. Other updates.
Oh, we actually discovered that we have a very special subscriber to our podcast.
We do. Let me just read you this email that I received.
Okay, yep.
We got an email from Kelly is on Santa's naughty list, asking us to stop swearing.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, very interesting from a random person who is actually our father.
Yep.
Plot twist.
Luke wasn't my father. No.
I thought Luke was my father?
No, I meant
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader was my father, but...
Actually,
okay.
that's a commonly misknown fact. It's actually not Luke, I am your father.
I know that. I know some Star Wars things.
So, shout out to our new listener, our father.
And this is his address.
Tell him that swearing is what normal kids do when they're trying to be rebellious.
Well, it's kind of like your parents are like, don't do this, and then they do it, and you're like, but you do it. Do as I say and not as I do.
Yep.
I'm really fucking sorry, Dad.
I'll try not to swear. I know it's a problem. I just get really
heated
and excited about things.
Especially when it comes, especially when we're talking about Hitler.
Yes.
Then Kelly's gonna...
Oh my gosh, Hitler. I can't. I didn't swear.
I love how anyone who just listens to that part, it's probably like, oh, she loves Hitler? That's fantastic.
She has a weird thing with Hitler. We're in a love-hate relationship right now.
We are doing a special topic. If you have listened to us, me and Kelly love aliens and spies.
Yes. And it's something that comes up in quite a bit of our theories.
Yep.
That either there's spy situations or, I mean, everything's alien related.
It is so true. I think that's the main part of conspiracies. A lot of people believe that there's something going on, like either with spies or aliens. That's like a common theme in a lot of conspiracies. We are going to be doing aliens versus spies. So I'm going to be telling an alien story, and Kelly is going to be telling a spy story. You get to choose which one you like better.
Yep. Which person gave a better story, convinced you of each of the theories. And so we're going to kind of use this on our social media too, on Instagram, Facebook, Aliens versus Spies, and we kind of want to know, what do you guys think? If you think aliens or spies are better, and
which one's more believable?
Spies.
Aliens. Well, okay, obviously there's spies, but basically, like, spies are the reasons behind a lot of things that we don't know. Like, things that can't be explained. It's like the government, basically.
Let's just blame spies.
Sounds good to me.
Right, exactly.
Or aliens. But, sure.
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess I'll do mine. My weekly theory is things can be great when you have one cat and a boyfriend, and things are great. But 2 cats...
As your cat just literally jumped on your face.
Yes.
And now he's by the microphone, and you can probably hear him purring.
Yeah, he's right here.
Now I have to take a picture because...
If
it's not on social media. Did it really happen?
Yeah. I mean, cats aren't as hard as dogs, but this little kitten is getting into everything. Where it's like you have to almost lock up and have the house as perfectly clean as possible so he doesn't get into anything.
Oh, but he's so cute.
He is really cute. So I guess it's worth it.
I already told Kendall I'm stealing her cat, so.
Yeah.
I just, overall, I think I talked about this last episode, how I needed, like, some mental health space. This week, I just feel like there's not enough hours in the week just to do cleaning and stuff. So,
simple things.
I feel like we need Fridays off or another day during the week because it's hard adulting. So,
it really is. And you never get enough sleep.
Right.
Even when I actually get the opportunity to sleep 12 hours, I don't know how quality sleep I have, because especially with my anxiety and stress that goes over into my dreams. So, I have an alien story. And this is actually in Encounters. I wonder if aliens are really upset about how we,
make fun of them?
Stereotype them.
Oh, yeah, like they're all just green people with large heads.
Big eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Cat eyes.
Don't hate on cats. What did they ever do to you?
No, they just look like they have cat eyes. Or, the pictures that people have.
I feel like the ones that I hear about are just, black holes of death.
Oh, yeah. No big deal.
Yeah, no biggie.
Okay, well, my story is about Travis Walton. He was 22 years old.
Travis Walton.
And he lived...
Sounds like a douchebag.
He does kind of sound like a douchebag. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt and believe his story, but he does kind of have a douchebag name.
It's like one of those frat boys, Travis Walton. Ugh.
He's not even the quarterback. He's from boarding school or something, and he wears only polos and sweater vests.
That weird pea coat that Edward Cullen used to wear in Twilight. Yeah, he wears that.
Oh yeah,
he's brooding.
Travis Walton probably does. He's probably very brooding.
But he's also, in a fraternity and secretly is, a messed up dude.
Okay. Alright, well, speaking of messed up, he went through a lot of messed up things because he believes that he has experiences with aliens.
Are you sure it wasn't Spies?
Actually was working with his friend, and they're working on a logging contract in central Arizona. They live in Snowflake, Arizona.
Snowflake, Arizona?
Yeah.
Was this before or after Trump became president that it was named Snowflake?
It was before.
Interesting.
But
I feel like a lot of people might have moved out of there.
so the people in the town, do they call themselves snowflakes?
Snowflakians?
Snowflakians?
The Snowflakians. Hi, I'm a Snowflakian. Nice to meet you.
That sounds like that made up country in the Princess Diaries.
Like Genovia.
Snowflakia.
Snowflakia.
That's what they should have called the country in Frozen.
Yeah, wasted opportunity.
Arendelle, it should have been like Snowflakendale.
Snowflakendale. Snowflaker. Yeah.
Erland.
We have renamed the land in Frozen. It shall for henceforth be named Snowflake, Arizona. The end. All was well.
Well, that would make sense because Arizona getting that much snow, that would be kind of cause for.
Maybe they're just it was originally named that because they saw a snowflake once. And
yeah, one time.
And they're like, there's only ever been one snowflake in Arizona. We shall commemorate this occasion by calling our town Snowflake. So, I have something to say because I had to know because I Googled it.
Yeah.
So, Snowflake, Arizona was actually founded by Ersta Snow and William Flake. And they combined the names together to name it Snowflake.
That is their couple name. They
You're
also
welcome.
became a town.
They were having a secret homosexual affair.
Oh.
Just kidding.
I don't know. This Travis guy, maybe. I feel actually bad. This person's probably still alive, and then he'll probably listen to this and be so mad. Well, also, he might be crazy because he said he saw aliens, but we're just gonna try to believe him. But let's listen to the story, and then you guys can decide.
Anyways.
Alright, so they were,
This is really important to the story.
Driving home with some of his coworkers, and a large disc object came out in the field, and instead of just being holy shit, I should run away from this, he decided to go towards it because
perfect.
Of course. So he goes towards the shape because
smart dude.
Dumb. But they also kind of believed that maybe the aliens were drawing him in, and it was kind of not like him trying. So he got struck with a jolt of energy. It hurled him 20 feet through the air.
What?
Knocking him unconscious, and then his friends got scared off. So his friends ran away.
Oh, perfect.
And then they're like, oh, wait, we forgot him. And then they drove back.
Wait, so...
And then he was gone.
They forgot that their friend was flown 20 feet into the air.
No. They forgot, they were like, everyone get in the car. And they all, the people that were out, jumped in. And they, realized, Travis didn't get back in the car.
Were they high when this happened?
I'm not sure. But...
Because that seems very likely.
Yeah, well, I'll just finish the story and then you can...
Yeah.
We'll talk about our theories. So he said he woke up in, an emergency room.
Did he see, did he actually see the people?
So he found a trio of extraterrestrials wearing orange surgical gowns.
Ooh. Like prison.
They had brown eyes that were the size of a quarter. And he was apparently gone for a whole week that they were looking for him.
What?
And then finally he was found in another town in Arizona. So
Where was he found?
we're gonna kind of go into that.
Oh.
It was like a town over.
It's so weird. Like, if I just disappeared for a week, like, aliens took me. Oh, it's so creepy.
So that's like the basic stuff that he remembers. But after he returned, him and his 6 coworkers that saw the UFO, they went through psychiatric testing to try to see like what if it was something else that was causing it, and they also took lie detector tests. And they all passed. So like they asked him about his UFO experience, and
Baby. Okay, your cat loves this microphone.
I know.
So
He's
now
like wants a snuggle.
All they're gonna hear is purrs. Just not part of this. Can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. It's just too cute.
It is really cute.
Continue.
Alright, so Walden tries to say, like, hey, if me and all these other men are passing our polygraph test, why are so many people trying to say that we're lying? Which, yeah, I can see that. So while he is missing, they do like a missing persons and try to figure out where he went, and nobody can find him. And the first thing that his mom does when she is when she found out he was missing, she said, "Who else knows this?"
What?
Who else knows that he's missing? It wasn't like what happened, where do you think he is? It was like, who else knows? It's kind of like something that somebody has a bad reaction, like after someone dies, and it's kind of like they know something.
It's like when someone murders someone and then they're like, oh, like they don't like they know like, information about it that they should know.
Well, we're gonna talk about this later, but for OJ, and he's like, oh
yeah, don't give away all my secrets.
Okay, well, it might just be where you answer a question or say something that's kind of off, that's kind of suspicious. So then they were searching the woods because around the area that he was supposedly abducted, looking around for him, trying to figure out what happened, and because he was gone for like 6 days, they believe that basically they were gonna find a dead body. They weren't gonna find him.
So did they think maybe like he ran away or something?
They thought it was more like they thought that the 6 friends that were in the car
had murdered him
and tried to do the alien thing to cover it up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, either way, like, if that was really what happened, that would be freaking crazy, too. And they passed a lie detector test.
Yeah. Well, like, supposedly when he was a kid, him and his friends were really into alien stories. Oh. So they're like, oh, it's just he was so involved in it, they must have, like, found out and wanted to reach out to him or something. So then you could see that as them trying to cover up him being, like, murdered.
Yeah.
And when they found him, he did not have any bruises or anything on him, even though that night the 6 men saw him being thrown 20 feet.
So, like, either he healed really fast or it didn't actually happen.
Yeah. But there was, like, a little, like, injection on, like, near one of his elbows that looks like a small, like, something was, like, inserted, but... or, like, taken. And they did, like, a physical on him, and there was, like, basically he was perfectly healthy, and it's not the levels that you would think if he had been in the woods for 5 days by himself.
Oh, weird, because you would think, like, did he say, like, oh, I've been kidnapped? Like,
well, he
did
only
he remember, like, eating when he was there?
he only remembered being in that room and seeing the aliens, and he doesn't remember much else after that. So when he was discovered, he had only thought a couple hours had passed. So there's something where it's like the time is sped up, or like, you know, they were knocked him out or wiped his memory.
Weird.
So there was a lot of times where they would ask questions, and he would feel like a mental block on his brain, saying like he couldn't say certain things.
That's insane.
Yeah. So different theories for this. Some people believe that it was a friend trying to murder him and then like drugged him or something.
Ooh. Maybe they like just hid him in one of their basements. And then
but how would he have those memories?
I don't know. People remember really weird stuff when they're on like LSD.
Well, they actually did drug tests, and he didn't have any drugs in his system, though he had done weed previously. He had said that he had done it when he was younger. So.
Oh, but not like he had done it that day.
No.
Okay.
Then other people think that since his friend and him were working in the forest at the logging center, that it might have been a setup so that they could get out of the work and be paid for the work without having to do the work.
Oh.
Which I think was actually way too much.
That's such a like weird.
When you make up something more believable than aliens, you know, if it was actually a lie. Then also, they believe it might have been his mom, just because of how suspicious she was when he answered. It's almost like she knew, but maybe it's just like
maybe she was conspiring with the aliens. They're like, take my son, don't take me.
Like, she knew the whole time that there were aliens and they were going to take him, and she was just like,
happens.
It happens. That's
casual.
Fine. Holds a blaster to her head.
A blaster?
A blaster. Yeah.
As long as you don't probe me, I'm cool.
Yep.
Take my son.
Please don't. So this was actually in the 70s. So a lot of time has passed, and in the last 43 years, he has continued to tell his story, though there are little discrepancies in his story, but I think part of that might just be his age.
Okay. So he was probed by aliens, and they did test on him, basically?
Yep.
Oh.
And nothing really nothing bad happened to him, but...
Did they, so they didn't charge anyone?
Nope. They actually, for the case of him being missing, they just say, unknown.
Oh, weird.
So... And they say, really, the highest theory they have is alien abduction. So,
what? They say that in the police report?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
I feel like that's not a real... Like, how does that happen? I feel like nowadays they'd be like, oh, nope, it's this and this and this, and they wouldn't admit
well, it
was
the aliens. 70s, and, most of the people probably were high, and so... It's fine.
Believable. I feel like a bunch of crazy stuff happened in the 70s.
How about just all of the years?
I don't know. The 70s seem more like there was so much drug use and crazy, like, murderers. Like, a bunch of serial killers are from, like, the 70s. People used to, like, hitchhike and be murdered.
Free reign to do whatever.
Yeah. Like, people didn't care as much. And then they got abducted by aliens. And probed.
No.
No.
No probing.
No probing. Not today, alien.
Not today, aliens.
Maybe tomorrow.
Alright, so I think this story is pretty believable because it doesn't really make sense. Like, how do you convince someone they were abducted by aliens? And if they were doing it for money,
couldn't you come up with a better story?
Yeah. And they, they asked them, okay, if you tell us the real story, we'll give you money for it. And they all, denied it. They're like, we're not going to take money.
Oh.
Because the people would just spin their words also. So. Yep. And that's the story of Travis Walton.
Douchebag.
The preppy, buttoned-up shirt, vest-wearing man.
Who was probed.
Who
wasn't loved by his mother.
And also, his mother wasn't concerned for him, apparently. Sorry, Travis. Okay, Kelly, do you want to tell us your spy story?
I got a spy story.
Spies!
This story is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
This shit is bananas.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Okay, so this is the story of the... This is the story of the Isdal woman.
Is that a place?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, on a Sunday morning in 1970, a woman was found at the bottom of Isdal Valley, which was in Norway.
Oh, okay. So this is different country.
Yep. So there was 3 hitchhikers, 2 daughters and a dad. They were hiking on this pretty untraveled path. I think that they were trying to push themselves to do better hiking wise. So not a lot of people came to this area.
Okay.
So what happened was they saw this woman's body and she was burned. Her entire front was burned.
Oh my God.
And they initially, how they found her is they smelled the burning flesh. Ugh.
Some people say it smells like French fries.
Ew.
I think it depends on how much salt you eat.
Disgusting.
I know it's really.
I don't know if I don't know if they were eating French fries in Norway in 1970, but maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know because we don't know if she's from Norway.
Oh, but this is in Norway.
Yep, she was dead in Norway, and this Isdal Valley, which is known by the locals as Death Valley.
Oh my gosh.
Because quite a few people either commit suicide or they end up dead because they can't handle the hiking. This was they thought maybe that this was one of the cases. So initially when they did the autopsy, they found that this woman, she didn't have any identification on her. She had no tags on her clothes. It didn't say Old Navy on the back of her shirt. It was cut off.
So then you couldn't even tell where she was from.
Right, exactly. And she had a lotion bottle, which I don't know why you get prescription lotion, but she had a lotion prescription bottle with her prescription name and number and all the information rubbed off.
There has to be a reason behind that.
Yeah, it was super weird. And so they did the autopsy and they found that she had 50 to 70 sleeping pills in her system.
Oh my gosh.
Which goes into my first theory.
How would you even swallow that many? I mean, I can barely swallow one pill. Honestly.
Swallowing pills is hard.
It is. Like, can you imagine 50 of those?
How would you even... Yeah.
I would start choking on, like, the third one.
You
and
have
then
to
I'd
be-
get it done, like, really fast.
You have to be pretty desperate to swallow 50 to 70 sleeping pills. And I'm guessing maybe they were, like, a little bit smaller.
I take one Benadryl, and it's like I'm so loopy, and I feel like I'm going to fall asleep, so, yeah.
Yeah. So, this leads into our first theory. By the police, it was ruled a homicide. Not homicide. What? No. What? No,
That's not
no,
right.
it wasn't. No, just kidding. Ignore me.
Like, by
It
who?
was by herself. She committed a homicide on herself, which is actually known as suicide.
Oh.
Because I said homicide, but I wrote suicide because I'm stupid.
So she's homicidal. Homicidal. Homicide. When you say it's over.
I feel like that puts a whole nother level in that song. Like,
girl.
like, you're so beautiful, I'm homicidal, like I want to kill you.
Oh no.
So, the first theory is that it was a suicide. It was ruled a suicide by the police, but the weird thing was that her entire front of her body was burnt, like, to a crisp. She had her hands, like, over her face, but all of her jewelry was, like, on the side on a little rock next to her. Not a rock. It wasn't a little rock. It was a boulder. It was a big boulder, but it was right next to her. And, like I said, all of the tags were cut out of her clothes, which maybe she did, but it seemed really weird. And why would she go and swallow 50 sleeping pills and then burn herself alive? Only on her front side.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. You think you'd be in, like, I would be like, hey, take 5 ibuprofen or whatever, and then be like, oh, I'm high enough that I can try to burn myself, and then you try to burn yourself, and then you're like, nope, and then you would stop taking the medication.
I feel like burning yourself is the worst way to go, so why would you want to do that? I don't think that she would have done that on purpose, at least in my opinion. So, like I said, this is a spy story. So, initially, they had no identification who this woman was. They knew that she was in her 40s. Yeah. They looked at her dental records, and they say that she was probably either from South America or Central Europe descent, because they looked at her dental records and to see
okay, good idea.
To see what kind of dentist would have worked with her teeth and the procedures they would have done.
So,
which
if
is really
it's
interesting.
English descent, does that mean their teeth are kind of crooked? Because people in Britain have worse teeth.
I think it's genetics.
That's a stereotype, but
no, I think more like, how like we have like braces in America.
Yeah.
There might be different forms of things that they do to fix teeth, so I'm guessing that whatever they did, they can see that, and that's how they got that it was from there. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, one thing that they did realize is that they could tell what kind of water she drank by her teeth. Because you know how like certain areas will put like fluoride in the water and stuff?
Yeah.
So because like depending on how strong her teeth were, they could tell like what she ate and then also like what kind of water she was constantly consuming. So that's how they figured out that they would apparently the water in Central Europe and or South America is very similar. So
how would you even go about trying to figure that out? That's insane.
I mean, I'm not a dentist, so I'm not sure. But it's crazy. Oh, it's just getting started, my friend. My sister, my friend.
Sister friend?
Sister friend. Sister wife. Nope.
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 Nope. Nope. Nope, that was weird. Okay.
Tell me all the things.
So, I was going to mention this before, but I guess, nope. Okay. Nope, cutting all that out. Okay, anyways. That sounded really weird.
What is the thing that Baymax does? Alright, now you gotta edit all this out too.
I'm just gonna... Oh, I have the perfect clip for the end now. I feel like that just sounds like alien noises like they make in the movies. They're like, take us to our leader.
No, it's like, because it's like intense music, because it's like, they're about to take over your planet.
And then they just go, and then everyone's like, what?
And they're like, I don't understand what you're saying. He somehow talks with a British accent. It's insane. The alien does.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
This week on Doctor Who. Anyways. Just kidding. This year, because there's only one episode a year.
Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous.
Back to my spy theories.
Spy theories? That should be our new podcast. Twin spy theories. But then they would know we're spies.
We are spies.
Oh, shit. I just said we are spies.
No.
Now they know.
They know. Oh, no. So, there's some weird stuff up with this girl.
It's already weird, so can you tell me how it gets weirder?
It gets weirder. So, she, the local town of Bergen, which, yes, is the name of the horrible monster creatures from Trolls.
I was just gonna say
who
that.
like to eat trolls. The town of Bergen.
The Bergens!
The Bergen townspeople.
Do they also have trollstis? They eat trolls.
Maybe. Maybe she was really a troll.
That explains a lot.
So, she had, like I said, she had no labels on her clothing, rubbed up, like, all of her prescriptions on her bottles. See, it seemed like she was trying to hide her identity, or someone else did it so that no one knew who she was.
So it might not be suicidal.
Yep, so when she was found, she had blue rubber boots beside her. Like I said, her jewelry was set aside. And at Bergen's train station, they found 2 suitcases that had her fingerprints actually on, like, a pair of sunglasses that were in her bag.
Like they compared it to her body?
Yep, they compared it to her body. So they still didn't know who she was.
Okay.
But they could find the fingerprint from what they had left of her body. Ugh.
Yeah. What was left?
Oh, I'm sorry. In the suitcases were many different wigs, 8 different passports, and there were also, this was there was a photographer, like an Italian photographer, had a postcard in the woman's luggage.
What?
Yeah. So, and then there was this weird, like, code message thing that they found, and they didn't know what it was. It felt very, like, spy movie-esque, where
wow,
there was, like, this encrypted code that they needed to figure out, and...
did they figure it out?
They figured it out!
What is it?
They tried many places around town to figure out who this woman was, and they found out that she had been staying at... They found out that she had been staying at quite a few different hotels in the area, and the code matched up with each of the hotels that she had been at. So I'm wondering if some sort of like illegal activity, or she was meeting one of her contacts there. Real creepy. And so a lot of the people in the hotels were like, oh, like she kept to herself, and they knew like, oh, she ate like porridge was her like go-to breakfast meal, but like out of the important stuff, they didn't know really anything about her. So she did, from the witnesses, she spoke French, German, and then broken English.
Wow.
And like I said, she stayed at several hotels in Bergen, and she would repeatedly change rooms after checking in. She told hotel staff she was a traveling saleswoman and an antique dealer, but they could find no evidence of this. One witness did say that she heard her talking to a man, saying in German, "I am coming soon."
So I don't want to ruin your Spies thing.
Okay.
But given the information, she definitely could just be a hooker. Like, she has wigs, and then she goes to a bunch of different hotel rooms.
Okay. But, like, why all the wigs? And all the different passports? Why would you need a bunch of different passports to be a hooker? Seems like she would have been doing pretty good in Bergen.
I think, what if she's an international hooker?
Oh. Instead of an international spy, she's an international hooker.
That seems more logical.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Seems good.
Alright, continue.
So, the last hotel that she stayed at, the staff did get a somewhat good description of her, which is why they could connect this description with her, that she was good looking, which, cool. She was 5'4" tall, dark brown hair, and small brown eyes. She was around 40 years old. She mainly kept in her room, and she seemed like she was always on edge. She would pay all of her bills in cash, and she had checked out of the hotel on the 23rd of November, and her body was found on the 29th of November. So they have no idea what happened in those 6 days.
They have no idea where she was or
what
would have caused her.
What was going on with her. And so they spoke with the person that made the boots, the blue boots, like it was a town over.
Okay.
And like he just knew that she wanted some boots, so he made her some boots. Like there were so many different weird things about it. Like the Italian photographer's postcard, and like nothing came of it. Like it feels like an Agatha Christie novel that like wasn't solved. Like, oh, there was this murder, but
like there's clues, but no one can like put them together.
All the different clues are like don't match up.
It's weird.
And so the main theory was that she was a spy, and she was told to take the sleeping pills, and then she was burned alive. And
okay, but if someone wanted to tell her, why did she have to do both?
What they're thinking is like they had a gun to her, and then maybe they weren't like working fast enough, so the person was like, okay. Because have you heard of like sometimes people like have like crazy stomachs and they can withhold like pills and stuff? Because she didn't die from the pills. She died from being burned. She had them in her system, but that's not what caused her death.
I mean, I guess it probably didn't hurt as bad because she had the pills in her system.
I mean, maybe. But still, not great. I mean, she had her hands over her face. Like, she knew what was happening.
I feel like just, like, your body would react. Like, if you tried to burn yourself, your body would, like, stop you.
Yeah.
Basically. Because it wants to survive. So.
Yeah, so my main theory is that she was a spy. Obviously, she had it seemed like she had a bunch of different identities. No one really knew who she was or where she was from. And there was, like, her dental records saying that she might have been from Central Europe or South America. But then she spoke, like, French, German, and English. It just seemed very weird where there was something weird going on. She kept on meeting with random people, changing hotel rooms. What I think is that it's a spy story. I do, however, have some other theories, but your cat is on my phone.
Sounds about right.
So the other theory was that it was an accident, which seems weird. So they're thinking that she fell off a cliff. Okay.
What?
Yeah. So what they're thinking is that she went out there to be alone, maybe to commit suicide, and she took the pills, and she started a fire, and she accidentally used hairspray, and it made the fire, her get caught on fire and fall off a cliff and die.
No one just takes 50. Okay. All right.
Yeah. But there was a hairspray bottle, so they're like, okay, I could see that maybe happening, but they couldn't find a fire, and there was an entire, like, can of gasoline. Like, that doesn't seem like the normal thing that you would do, like, if you wanted just to start a little fire. No. You wouldn't have an entire can of gasoline.
And it was, like, the middle of nowhere, like...
Yeah.
She wasn't, like, people would have seen her, like, she was hiking somewhere, and then, like, they're like, oh, that girl is hiking, and she's carrying a thing of gasoline, like,
yeah.
I feel like more people would have noticed that.
And there was no witnesses to, other than, like, her being in a hotel room, no one knew who she was. The third theory, which I guess goes along with the spy theory, is that she was murdered, and so this could be maybe an ex-lover, maybe, I don't know, maybe an ex-client if she was a hooker like Kendall thinks, or maybe it was the Russians, or some other spy organization, and I think it was the Norwegian Spy Association, I don't know what the name of it is, but the Norwegian spies denied any involvement. Which is very convenient, because if they had killed her, obviously they would deny involvement.
Right.
So, that seems weird. You're like, okay, well, duh, you're gonna say that it wasn't you, even if it was. They said they had no knowledge and that she wasn't working with them. But what we have learned from many of these stories is that oftentimes the government lies.
Yep.
To hide things.
That's
maybe
sad.
for the goodness of the people, but we don't know.
But what about that person's family?
Yeah, so in February 1971, she was buried. She was given a Catholic burial because of the different things that, like, her jewelry and such. They think that she might have been Catholic. And she was put in an unmarked grave, and no one came to claim her. So she was buried, and that is the end of the story.
Well, it could be, like, anybody, like, missing from around the world, and people just don't.
Yeah. I mean, you can only imagine how many people around there, and if no one recognizes her, like, she's obviously not from Norway. She's not from Norwegian descent. So, I mean, everyone in Norway, for the most part, is, like, blonde and, like,
Tall?
Like, she was pretty short, dark hair. She was clearly not from that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's super weird. I obviously think that she was a spy. It just makes sense, but they never determined who killed her. It's still unknown. And if you want to listen or learn more about it, there's actually a podcast I was listening to called Death of Ice Valley. It's a podcast by BBC, and they do an extra research into it, trying to see if they can find out more information.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Really interesting. And they have actually one of the first people to see her dead. One of the police officers actually was on it, and he was kind of telling his side of the story.
Wow.
And it's really awesome, and you guys should go listen to it. I highly suggest it. I haven't listened to all of it, but I really liked the first couple episodes, and it gave me some good information for this along with my research. So,
well, okay. So I have another theory.
Okay.
What if she was a lizard person?
Okay.
Someone found out that she was a lizard
Katy Perry?
person. Or Katy Perry.
She was Katy Perry in 1971.
Yes. Katy Perry doesn't age.
She was a lizard person in 1971.
So then they burned her. Or she was an alien.
Well, she was a witch.
Yeah.
Maybe aliens killed her.
I like how she still cared about, like, her bracelets, even though she took those off, like...
Yeah, like, this is what I'm going to do while committing suicide. I'm going to conveniently get rid of all of the tags in my clothes. Which, I mean, maybe you don't like the tags. I mean, it's kind of annoying when you have the tag on the back of your shirt and it always gets stuck or it's itchy.
There's an extent.
But then also, like, I'm going to conveniently put all of my jewelry on this rack because I don't need it in the afterlife. Like, no, when you're depressed like that, you don't think about that stuff. It sounds like someone did it.
Like, it was carefully planned.
Yeah, like someone purposefully did that. And then they planted all this different weird evidence, like the boots and the different things, so that they wouldn't have any leads about her.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, because they still don't know what happened. Yeah, so let us know what you guys thought about each of those stories.
This was so awesome.
They're both, like I said, bananas.
Bananas.
And, oh gosh. So, Kendall, do you want to tell them where they can find us?
Alright, you guys can listen to us on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher,
and
iHeartRadio,
and
now we are officially on Spotify.
Yay!
Yes.
We made it to the big time. We're on Spotify, which is awesome. We're
famous.
Somewhat of an increase of listeners too, which is great, and it's so exciting. And you know, we do this just for fun, but it's really awesome to know that people are listening too.
Yep.
It makes us really excited. We really love doing this. I will probably update more next week, but we have some great stuff coming up with our Patreon as well.
Yay!
I did post a bonus episode last week. If anyone wants to hear my take on the Staircase, the Netflix documentary about Mike Peterson, it's really interesting. I'm obsessed with it. If you want to go ahead and listen, you do just need to donate at the $1 level on our Patreon. We do have some other levels. We'll probably go over that in our next podcast. But yeah, don't forget, like Kendall said, we're on iTunes and Spotify and iHeartRadio. But also don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twin Theories Pod. We also have a secret group on Facebook. If you want to join, it's just Twin Theories Secret Group. You don't need to ask any questions. We'll let pretty much anyone in there. But, you know, it's just a place that we can talk a little bit more about these conspiracy theories and awesome stuff and continue the conversation. And we'll also be posting bonus content like we normally do on our Instagram. And yeah, that's that for this week.
And if you want to write in and tell us a story, we might mention you on the podcast. We're at Twin Theories Podcast at Gmail.
Twin Theories Pod at gmail.com.
Pod at Gmail. All right. I don't know what that other one was.
Oh,
Please don't email.
Please don't email that random person.
Poor person. All right. So we're twins.
And these are our theories. Okay, but this time I really want to add in alien sound effects.
Nope, that's not. That's a fire truck.
No, I know I say I'm going to, but I'm going to. It's happening. If I remember.